Welcome to Be Stoic. In today's video, we'll explore 7 simple daily habits to build unshakable strength. Habits inspired by Stoic wisdom and modern success stories. Each habit comes with a powerful Stoic quote and a real-life example to show how these practices forge true resilience. Stick around till the end, because habit number 7 ties everything together in a life-changing way. Before we dive in, make sure to watch until the end so you don't miss any insights. If you're new here or find value in Stoic teachings, hit that subscribe button and join our community. And if you want to take your Stoic journey further, consider becoming a member of Be Stoic. Members get exclusive perks, including early access to videos, so you can start applying wisdom before everyone else. Now, let's strengthen ourselves, one day at a time, with these 7 habits. Habit 1. Rise early with purpose. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics taught that morning is the testing ground of our resolve. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, reminded himself each sunrise that he was born to fulfill his purpose, not to seek comfort in bed. This habit isn't really about the hour on the alarm clock. It's about starting your day with discipline and meaning. When you push yourself to rise and begin your work, whether it's your job, studies, or personal goals, you're affirming that comfort does not control you. You're saying, I will do what I'm meant to do as a human being with responsibilities and higher aims. In Stoic practice, overcoming the morning's inertia is a small victory that sets the tone for the entire day. It builds an inner strength. If you can win the first battle against laziness, you carry that momentum of self-mastery forward. Look at Jocko Willink, a retired Navy SEAL commander and author. Jocko is famous for his ultra-early wake-ups. He posts a photo of his watch reading 4:30 a.m. as proof that he's out of bed and training. Why does he do it? As Jocko says, it's about having the discipline to get a head start on everyone else. Get productive time doing things you need to do. He preaches the motto, discipline equals freedom. By forcing himself up before dawn, he gains extra hours for exercise and planning, free of distractions. More importantly, he strengthens his will. No one loves leaving a warm bed. As Jocko puts it, that pillow is soft, that blanket is warm, and no one wants to leave that comfort. But he does it anyway, every day, to toughen his mind. This daily habit helped make Jocko a formidable leader. It gave him the reputation of someone who is always prepared, always one step ahead. Imagine the quiet before sunrise. While the world sleeps, you're up conquering your inner sloth and building your body and mind. It's a calm, powerful feeling. Whether you wake at 4:30 a.m. or simply resist the urge to hit snooze at 7, rising with purpose gives you a mental edge. You start the day on your terms, not in reaction to comfort or delay. Over time, this habit builds a core of strength, because if you can master the morning, you can master anything. Habit 2. Prepare your mind for adversity. He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. Seneca. Every new day brings challenges, difficult people, unexpected problems, delays, disappointments. Stoicism urges us to anticipate these hurdles calmly rather than be caught off guard. The quote from Seneca reminds us that a trouble expected is a trouble diminished. If you start each day with a quiet moment of mental preparation, a kind of premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils, you won't be shaken when difficulties arise. This doesn't mean waking up anxious. It means visualizing potential challenges in advance, so you can meet them with composure. Marcus Aurelius did this each morning, reminding himself, I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence. The Stoics knew that life is unpredictable, but by accepting that unpredictability up front, we stay level-headed. It's like a soldier mentally rehearsing a battle scenario so nothing surprises him on the field. When you regularly foresee possibilities, the client might be harsh today, traffic might be jammed, My plan A might fail. You don't suffer shock or anger when it happens. Instead, you respond, "Ah, I expected this. I know what to do next." You move straight into solutions with a steady mind. This habit builds strength through foresight. Challenges lose their bite because you've pre-lived them and diffuse their element of surprise. Consider Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer, as a modern example of the power of negative visualization. His coach, Bob Bowman, had a habit of deliberately creating adversity during Phelps's training sessions, like stepping on Phelps's goggles so they would crack or fill with water. Why? To prepare Phelps for any mishap in competition. In the 2008 Beijing Olympics, this training paid off dramatically. During the 200-meter butterfly final, an event Phelps was poised to win, his goggles began leaking and filled with water, blinding him mid-race. But Phelps did not panic. He was unfazed and kept swimming. He had practiced this scenario many times. Staying calm, he relied on counting his strokes, since he couldn't see, and finished the race to win gold and even set a world record. The crowd was astonished that he swam blind and still dominated. Phelps later revealed that he and his coach had used exactly this Stoic technique of anticipating obstacles. By imagining the worst, goggles malfunctioning, and training for it, Phelps removed the fear and uncertainty. When the worst actually happened, it felt almost routine to him. We might not be Olympic athletes, but we can practice this habit in our daily arena. If you have a big presentation, imagine a few tough questions that could arise, so you'll be ready with answers. If you're driving to work, recognize that traffic might be heavy today, I'll leave a bit early, or stay patient. By expecting challenges every day, you suffer less from them and sometimes even prevent them. You become the person who stays cool in chaos, because in your mind, you've already been through it. Strength is not just brute force, it's also the resilience of a prepared mind. Habit 3. Focus on what you can control. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Epictetus. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, realizing what's up to us and what isn't. This habit is about mental clarity and efficiency. Every day, remind yourself, I can control my own actions, choices, and attitudes. I cannot directly control external events or other people. Epictetus's advice is simple but liberating. Do your absolute best with the part that depends on you, and let go of anxious obsession over the rest. By practicing this daily, you stop wasting energy on things you can't change, and you direct all your effort to things you can change. This is a tremendous source of strength. Why? Because a person who focuses on their own will and reason is unperturbable. If a problem arises, your question becomes, what can I do about this? What's within my control here? You no longer spin your wheels blaming circumstances or wishing things were different. The Stoics compared trying to control externals to trying to control the weather. Futile and frustrating. But controlling your own mind and response is like setting your sails correctly in that weather. Each day, practice this. When something happens, quickly distinguish. Is this within my power or not? If not, choose not to worry about it. If yes, take the most effective action you can. This habit, repeated over time, gives you a quiet confidence. You become immune to petty frustrations, a flight delay, a sudden rain, someone else's mood. You accept these gracefully, focusing instead on what you'll do yourself. Paradoxically, by focusing on less, only what you control, you gain more power over your life. A powerful example of this habit is Dr. Stephen Hawking. Hawking was one of the world's greatest physicists, and he also suffered from ALS, a motor neuron disease that gradually paralyzed him almost completely. By his mid-20s, he lost nearly all control of his muscles. He couldn't walk, and later could only speak through a computer. Such a life-altering condition could have led to despair. But Hawking chose a Stoic-like path. He focused on the one thing ALS did not take from him, his mind. Concentrate on things your disability doesn't prevent you doing well, Hawking advised others. He poured all his energy into physics research and teaching, developing groundbreaking theories about black holes and cosmology. He refused to lament what was outside his control, his deteriorating body, and instead maximized what was in his control, his intellect, his attitude. With a cheeky sense of humor, he once wrote that when faced with unfortunate events, we have two options: to be angry or to learn something from it. He preferred to learn. Hawking lived 55 years longer than doctors predicted, astonishing the medical world, and he attributed much of his longevity and success to having a purpose and not wasting time on self-pity. Every day, he made a choice to accept his fate and then direct his will only toward meaningful work. As a result, despite immense physical limitations, Hawking achieved more than most able-bodied people ever will. He literally expanded the boundaries of the universe for humanity with his mind. We can apply the same principle on a smaller scale. If you're stuck in traffic, you can't control the jam, but you can control whether you spend that time raging or use it to listen to an educational podcast. If a colleague is in a foul mood, you can't change their mood, but you can control your own behavior and remain calm and kind. By focusing on your own actions, you not only waste less energy, you also become far more effective. You'll find that you actually solve more problems because you're working on the part of the problem that's solvable. Over time, this habit makes you feel lighter and more empowered each day. Lighter because you've dropped the burden of the uncontrollable, empowered because you pour your effort into what truly matters. Habit 4. Practice voluntary discomfort. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Seneca. Comfort is a double-edged sword. While it's nice to have ease, too much comfort weakens our spirit. The Stoics intentionally practiced hardship in small ways to build resilience, a bit like taking daily cold showers to toughen the body. Seneca's quote reminds us that our mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger when we challenge it, just as the body grows stronger through exercise. The habit here is to do one hard thing each day on purpose. That might mean embracing a physical discomfort, like ending your shower with cold water, walking rather than driving, or fasting from lunch until dinner once a week. It could also be a mental discomfort, like having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding, or deliberately stepping away from your phone and sitting in silence for 10 minutes, even if you feel restless. By choosing a bit of discomfort regularly, you train yourself to handle life's inevitable difficulties with greater ease. It's like a vaccine. You take a small dose of hardship to become immune to larger hardships. Stoic philosophers would sleep on a hard floor occasionally, or wear plain, rough clothing, or eat simple meals just to remind themselves, is this what I feared? They found that the answer was often no. The discomfort was not that bad, and in fact it made them more grateful and strong. When you push your boundaries daily, even a little, you expand your comfort zone. You start to realize that you're capable of more than you thought. As Seneca said, those difficulties strengthen your mind. You become less afraid, less fragile. You learn that feeling uncomfortable is not the end of the world. This gives you a form of inner freedom. When tough times come unexpectedly, your mind doesn't flinch as much because you've been there before by choice. A modern example of harnessing voluntary discomfort is David Goggins. Goggins is a former Navy SEAL and ultra-endurance athlete who has gained fame for his almost superhuman mental and physical toughness. But he wasn't always that strong. In his early 20s, he was overweight, depressed, and going nowhere. How did he transform? He essentially adopted Stoic-style training, purposefully seeking out pain and challenges to callous his mind. Goggins started waking up early to run long distances every day, even though at first he could barely run a mile. He forced himself into the gym to do hundreds of repetitions and later hundreds of pull-ups. In fact, he set a world record by doing over 4,000 pull-ups in 24 hours. He took "embrace the suck" as a personal motto, meaning he chose to embrace suffering as the path to strength. Over time, what happened? He became one of the toughest endurance athletes on the planet. He completed 100-mile ultramarathons, triathlons, and other grueling events. But more impressively, he forged a mind that doesn't quit. In interviews, Goggins explains that every day he does something that's uncomfortable or hard, precisely because it builds his resilience and self-discipline. If it's raining and cold, that's when he insists on running outside, not on a cozy treadmill. If his body aches and his mind says, "Take it easy," that's when he doubles down and does 10 more reps. Through these daily acts of willpower, he's proven that difficulties strengthen the mind. Goggins often refers to this as callousing the mind, similar to how lifting weights builds muscle by creating micro tears that heal stronger. By choosing voluntary discomfort, he has an unshakable belief in his own toughness. When life throws real adversity at him, and it has, from heart surgeries to personal tragedies, he faces it head-on without fear, because he's trained for hardship. Now, we don't all need to run ultramarathons or do thousands of pull-ups. The key is to find your own challenges. Maybe it's taking a cold shower each morning, which trains you to resist the initial shock and breathe through discomfort. Maybe it's setting a rule to do one thing each day that scares you, like speaking up in a meeting or saying no to someone when it's the right thing, even though confrontation is uncomfortable for you. Each time you do this, you're strengthening that difficulty muscle. You're telling yourself, "I can handle the hard stuff. I do hard stuff on purpose." Over time, the daily habit of choosing challenge over comfort builds a reservoir of courage and tenacity. When others shy away from tough tasks, you charge forward, because hardship is no stranger to you. It's an old training partner. This is real strength, not just strength of body, but strength of character, forged in the fires of voluntary discomfort. Habit 5. Turn obstacles into fuel. The blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. Marcus Aurelius. This vivid metaphor from Marcus Aurelius encapsulates a core Stoic attitude, amor fati, the love of one's fate. The idea is to treat everything that happens, good or bad, as material for your growth, as fuel for your inner fire. Imagine your soul as a blazing fire. Whatever life throws at you today, a setback, an irritation, an obstacle, rather than extinguishing you, it feeds you. It makes you brighter and stronger because you choose to absorb it and turn it to your advantage. This habit is about actively reframing difficulties into opportunities. It's a step beyond expecting adversity. Here we practice finding the benefit or lesson in every adversity. Got a difficult assignment at work? That's fuel to improve your skills. Stuck in a long line at the store? That's fuel for practicing patience. Lost a business deal or failed an exam? It's painful, yes, but feed it to your fire. Turn it into motivation to come back smarter or an insight into what to improve. Marcus believed that a strong mind can turn obstacles upside down, making them serve its purpose. What stands in the way becomes the way, he wrote, meaning the impediment can guide you to a new path. If every day you consciously look for the silver lining or the lesson in the tough stuff, you cultivate an incredibly resilient mindset. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. Instead, you become an alchemist of experience, transforming trial into triumph. Over time, life's punches don't knock you down as easily because you're already weaving them into your own story of growth. A modern story that exemplifies this habit is that of Bethany Hamilton. Bethany was a rising 13-year-old surfer when, in 2003, she was attacked by a shark and lost her left arm. This horrific event could have ended her surfing dreams forever. Many of us would understandably succumb to anger, self-pity, or the question, why me? But Bethany did something remarkable. She found a way to turn this obstacle into her fuel. In a matter of weeks, while still healing, she was back in the ocean, learning how to surf with one arm. She said that surfing was what she loved. It gave her joy and she wasn't going to give it up. She had to relearn balance and technique, essentially reinventing her approach to the sport. It was incredibly hard. Imagine trying to paddle out and pop up on a board with half the limbs you used to have. But each frustration she faced, she used as motivation. How can I make this work for me? Within a year, Bethany was competing in surfing events again. Not only did she return to competition, she eventually won a national title and became a professional surfer. Her story spread worldwide and inspired millions. She even said that losing her arm enabled her to connect with and inspire more people than she ever could have with two arms. In other words, she found meaning and opportunity in her tragedy. She became an author, speaker, and role model, showing that life is what you make of it, no matter what it throws at you. Bethany essentially lived Marcus Aurelius's quote, "The shark attack was something thrown into her fire. Instead of letting it put out her flame, she consumed it and burned brighter, becoming not just a great surfer, but a symbol of courage and positivity." We can apply this mindset in our daily struggles. Say you didn't get the job you wanted, how can that become fuel? Perhaps it pushes you to sharpen your skills or leads you to an even better opportunity you hadn't considered. Or maybe it's as simple as using the extra time to start your own side project. If you have an injury that stops you from your normal exercise, can it become fuel to focus on nutrition or flexibility, or to develop patience and mental training? Stoic philosophers like Epictetus knew this well. He himself was crippled. His leg was permanently injured from being a slave, yet he famously said, "I limp, but to me it's no hardship, for my mind does not limp." Instead of lamenting his condition, he used it to illustrate that the true self cannot be harmed without its consent. In our own lives, we can practice this by doing a quick reflection when something bad happens. Ask, what can I make of this? How can I use this? It's not about denying that something is an obstacle or that it hurts. It's about deciding that it will not be wasted on you. You will use it somehow, to learn, to grow stronger, to practice virtue, maybe patience, forgiveness, or courage. When you live like this consistently, an amazing thing happens. Obstacles lose a lot of their negative power. You become less fearful of challenges because you trust yourself to transmute them into something beneficial. Each day becomes, in a sense, an opportunity to play with fate. Whatever you give me, I'll build something from it. That is an incredibly empowering and unbreakable attitude, the definition of real inner strength. Habit 6. Be fully present. Every man's life lies within the present, for the past is spent and done with, and the future is uncertain. Marcus Aurelius. In our fast-paced world, our minds often race everywhere except here and now. Stoicism teaches that the present moment is the only place you truly live, and thus, it deserves your full attention and effort. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself to confine yourself to the present and not be carried away by fears of the future or regrets of the past. The daily habit here is mindful presence, to ground yourself in today, this task, this moment. Practically, this means whenever you notice your mind drifting into worry or distraction, gently bring it back. If you're eating lunch, just eat lunch. Taste the food, be aware of the experience, rather than scrolling on your phone or replaying an argument from yesterday. If you're working on a project, commit your attention fully to it for a set time, instead of constantly checking email or daydreaming about the weekend. This habit is like mental training. Each time your thoughts stray and you bring them back to the present, you're doing a rep that strengthens your focus muscle. Why is this important for building strength? Because a mind that dwells in the past or future is often filled with regret or anxiety, which drains us. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." When you center yourself in the now, you free yourself from that anxiety and rumination. You also perform better at whatever you're doing, conversation, work, exercise, because your whole being is involved. It's in the present moment that you can exercise virtue. You can choose patience now. You can choose courage now. You can't act yesterday or tomorrow, only today. By fully living each day, you accumulate a series of strong, intentional days, which add up to a strong life. As a modern example, consider Arunima Sinha, the first female amputee to climb Mount Everest. Earlier, we mentioned turning obstacles into fuel. Arunima set the audacious goal of reaching Everest's summit after losing her leg. But how did she actually accomplish such a massive, overwhelming task? By mastering the art of being present and taking one step at a time. Climbing Everest is a monumental challenge for anyone, let alone someone with a prosthetic leg. If Arunima had allowed herself to be consumed by the enormity of it, 29,000 feet, deadly weather, the specter of her past trauma, she might have been paralyzed by fear. Instead, she focused on the next step, the next day's climb, the next training milestone. While recovering in the hospital, she broke down her impossible dream into manageable daily goals. First, she learned to walk with her new prosthetic limb. Then she trained on smaller treks, building strength and confidence. When she finally was on Everest, she wasn't summiting it in one go. She was simply present for each segment, base camp to Camp 1, then Camp 1 to Camp 2, and so on. She later described how staying calm and focused on each moment was crucial. If she looked down at how far she could fall, or too far up at how much still left to climb, panic could set in. So she kept her concentration grounded. This grip, this step, this breath. In doing so, she was able to make rational decisions and stay composed even in the death zone near the summit. Ultimately, after weeks of steady presence and persistence, she stood on the top of the world. Arunima's story teaches us that big achievements are a series of small, present moments. By focusing on what she could do right now, she overcame something that would intimidate anyone. In everyday life, being present can be practiced in simpler, but no less meaningful ways. Think of a time you felt completely absorbed in what you were doing, maybe playing music or a sport or deep in a good conversation. In those moments, there was a sense of flow and peace. That's the power of presence. The Stoics would suggest we bring that quality to more of our daily activities. If you're with your family in the evening, truly be with them. Listen attentively, observe the little details, appreciate the moment, rather than letting work worries cloud your head. If you're doing a tedious chore, instead of resenting it, try to do it with your full attention as a kind of practice in patience. Feel the warmth of the dishwater, the motion of your hands as you scrub the plate. Be there in it. It sounds mundane, but this mindset turns every day into a kind of moving meditation. And the result? A calmer, sturdier mind. When you train yourself to live in the present, you also train yourself to handle things as they come, step by step. Unexpected crisis at work? You take a deep breath and address what you can right now. Huge project deadline in a month. You calmly plan what needs to be done today and do it. By not letting the overwhelm of future possibilities or past failures overtake you, you remain effective and even-keeled. This habit gives you strength in the form of unshakable focus and serenity. Life will always have noise. The ability to find the still point in the current moment is a superpower that Stoics cultivated daily. You can too, by repeatedly anchoring yourself in the here and now. Habit 7. Reflect and journal each evening. Every night before going to sleep, we must ask ourselves, what weakness did I overcome today? What virtue did I acquire? Seneca. Our final habit closes the loop each day with Stoic reflection. The Stoics believed that an unexamined day is a missed opportunity for growth. Seneca, as well as Epictetus and Marcus, all practiced some form of nightly review. The quote from Seneca gives a concise framework. Before you end the day, look back on it. Where did I do well? Where did I falter? What did I learn? This habit is like a personal debrief with yourself, done in a calm and honest way. It's not about beating yourself up for mistakes. It's about learning from every experience. By asking, what weakness did I overcome today? You prompt yourself to find a moment where you triumphed over a negative impulse. Maybe you resisted snapping back at someone who was rude, or you dragged yourself to the gym even when you didn't feel like it. Acknowledge that. Give yourself credit for the victory, however small. That builds confidence and reinforces the behavior. Then, what virtue did I acquire? Or improve, essentially? Did I practice honesty, courage, patience, generosity today? Maybe you helped a colleague, or kept your cool in a stressful meeting, or stuck to your principles under pressure. Recognize those instances and let them solidify your identity as someone who can grow in virtue. Of course, some days the answers might be humbling. Perhaps you lost your temper, or procrastinated, or indulged a bad habit. The evening reflection is a safe space to admit that to yourself. Today I gave in to a weakness. I wasted 2 hours on social media instead of reading to my kids, for example. The key then is not to wallow in guilt, but to note it and think, all right, I stumbled here. Why? How can I do better tomorrow? Seneca said that when he found he'd spoken too harshly or acted poorly, he would tell himself, do not do this again. And he kindly pardoned himself for the mistake, resolving to improve. This gentle but honest self-scrutiny each night prevents little faults from ossifying into habits, and it encourages good practices to become habits. It's like steering your ship a bit each evening to make sure you stay on course in the long run. One highly effective way to do this reflection is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts at night can bring clarity and commitment. Many successful people, knowingly or unknowingly, follow this Stoic routine. For instance, Emma Watson, the actress and activist, keeps a daily journal as a form of self-reflection. She revealed that every single day I write in this journal, it has been really important to her. Her ritual involves noting down things like 3 moments of joy, 3 acts of kindness she did, and 3 things she did well each day. This is a beautiful modern adaptation of Stoic reflection. She focuses on the positive actions and improvements, which reinforces those behaviors and cultivates gratitude. Emma has said that this practice is her way of staying grounded amid a very busy, high-pressure life. It helps her not only remember the good in each day, but also stay mindful of how she is treating others and growing as a person. By journaling consistently, she can look back and actually see her progress and patterns over time. Similarly, many entrepreneurs and leaders use journals or nightly notes to check in with themselves. They might jot down, what did I learn today? What can I do better tomorrow? This habit has tangible benefits. Studies have shown journaling can reduce stress and improve sleep, likely because it offloads worries and gives you a plan for tomorrow. But beyond that, it's building character strength. When you journal or reflect in the Stoic way, you're essentially coaching yourself daily. You become at once the player in the game of life and your own coach, reviewing the tapes in the locker room afterward. Imagine how powerful that is over months and years. You are continuously refining your approach to life. Let's say one night you realize, I was impatient with my children today. By acknowledging it, you set an intention to be more patient tomorrow. The next day, that intention is fresh in your mind, so when the kids act up, you catch yourself and respond more calmly, remembering last night's resolution. That is real practical improvement generated by a few minutes of reflection. Or maybe you note, I faced my fear and spoke up about an issue at work. That was courageous. Writing it down congratulates your subconscious. Do more of that. It also locks in the lesson that speaking up wasn't as scary as you thought, which builds confidence. In essence, nightly reflection is about accountability to yourself. No audience, no vanity, just you and the truth of your day. The more you do it, the more you start to live each day aware that, come nightfall, you will answer to yourself. It's like knowing you'll give an honest report to a mentor, except you are both reporter and mentor. This naturally guides you to make better choices in the moment. You build an internal compass that keeps you steady. Over time, you'll notice the questions changing as you grow. Weaknesses that once dominated you are now overcome. Virtues you once struggled with are now part of you. And when you slip, because we all do, the habit of reflection ensures you don't slip in vain. You turn it into wisdom for tomorrow. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his own journal, if you've done wrong, the next step is to correct it and keep on your course. Each evening is that next step. By making this a daily habit, you create a continuous improvement loop for your life, which is incredibly empowering. It means no day is wasted because even a bad day yields lessons, and a good day yields strength and gratitude. As you adopt this habit, you may prefer writing in a notebook or simply sitting in quiet thought for a few minutes before bed. Do whatever suits you, but be consistent. The consistency is key. It signals that your growth is a priority, and it nicely bookends the day. You likely started the morning with purpose, habit 1, and anticipated challenges, habit 2. You lived your day focusing on what you can control, habit 3. Embracing difficulties, habit 4. Turning obstacles to advantage, habit 5. And staying present, habit 6. Now in the evening you harvest the fruits of that day's efforts. You extract meaning from the day, which strengthens your resolve for tomorrow. This nightly ritual will make you sleep more peacefully. After all, you have cleared your conscience and set your intention, and you'll wake up ready to refine your habits further. In the long run, this continuous cycle is how Stoics forged themselves into wise, strong, and tranquil individuals. You can do the same, one day at a time, starting and ending with purpose. These 7 daily habits: rising early with purpose, preparing for adversity, focusing on what you control, embracing discomfort, turning obstacles into fuel, living in the present, and reflecting each night, are simple in concept, but profound in impact. They embody the Stoic way of life, a life of intentionality, resilience, and virtue. By practicing them consistently, you'll find that you're not just going through days, you're growing through days. You'll face challenges with calmer determination, you'll seize opportunities with greater clarity, and you'll end each day wiser than you began it. Remember, the journey of building strength is a daily practice. Start with one habit and add others at your own pace, but keep at it. The beauty of Stoicism is that it's meant for real life, for busy mornings, stressful meetings, long commutes, joyful moments with family, and quiet nights. It's a guide for all of it, and these habits help integrate Stoic wisdom into every part of your day. If you found this video useful, subscribe to Be Stoic for more insights on living a strong and meaningful life. Don't forget to like this video if it resonated with you. It really supports the channel and helps spread Stoic ideas to others who might need them. We also invite you to become a channel member if you want to dive deeper. Members get special perks like early access to new videos, so you can start your Stoic practice ahead of the crowd, and additional content like Q&As and discussion posts where we explore these topics further as a community. We'd love to have you as part of the inner circle of Be Stoic. Finally, make sure to check out our other videos. Thank you for watching till the end. That already shows your commitment to growth. Now, it's time to put these habits into action. As the Stoics would say, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. So pick one of these habits to practice today and let us know in the comments which one you're focusing on. We're excited to hear your experiences and progress. Stay strong, stay stoic, and until next time, be stoic.